Welcome back, fellow ink drinkers. We are so excited to get into Six of Crows with you this month. This duology has been out for several years and is part of a wider universe you may have heard of called the Grishaverse. This includes two other series, one trilogy, the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and the King of Scars duology. Those two are more interconnected than Six of Crows is with them, but we wanted to kind of give you guys an introduction into the magic system and the greater world of this series so that we might clear up any confusion that you might have jumping into it. I personally read this book before I even knew Shadow and Bone existed. I was walking through a bookstore one day, perusing the YA section, picked up the book, saw it was a heist book set in a fantasy world, and was absolutely sold. So I picked it up, read it, loved it, then realized, oh, there are other things. And there was a bit of a learning curve at the beginning that I kind of want to help you guys along. It wasn't terrible, but if you have the information, why not include it? So there are two things I would like to clue you in on. One being the magic system, and the other kind of the socio-political world. So I'll start with the magic system. The universe is called the Grishaverse, and this is named after the magic wielders in this world. They are the Grisha, and they have the ability to manipulate different things. And they're kind of broken down or separated into three larger groups or orders. And then within each order, there are other smaller divides or categories, we'll say. So the first group is the corporality. This is the order of life and death. And within this order of life and death, they are able to manipulate elements of the body. We have healers, which seems pretty self-explanatory, right? They can heal ailments, broken bones, injuries. That's their main purpose. But we also have the heart renders. And these people can break bones and manipulate the heart, stop the heart, manipulate breathing. They can also slow down the heart, speed up the heart, things that would potentially allow one either to kill someone or maybe save their life in a different way from a healer. There is a rarer ability within this order called the Tailor. And we do see mention of this in Six of Crows. This type of Grisha, the Tailor, can manipulate the way a person looks. So they can change your eye color, your hair color, your bone structure. They can, change the texture of your skin, give you freckles, make you look sick, things like that. And this is a much more rare ability within that order. The main two are Heartrender and Healer. The second type of Grisha is the Etherealki. This is an order of summoners, which isn't as intuitive as like Order of Life and Death, and they can manipulate body, but the Etherealki deal with certain elements. So we have three main types of Etherealki, and the first one being the Squalor, we do hear of these in Six of Crows. They can summon and manipulate air. We see this in nautical applications where you can manipulate the air, push the air to push a boat forward. Along with that, going along with the nautical sense, are the tide makers who can summon and manipulate water currents or water in general. So you can influence a current to help a boat move along. We see that in that type of context. And then the third of this order, the third main type in this order, is the Inferni, and they can manipulate fire, which can have many applicable uses, in battle, but also with survival, with, creating fires to stay warm. There are other also rarer abilities in this order, and if you would like to learn more about those abilities, I would definitely read the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Two of the main characters in that trilogy have these rare special abilities, and it's a huge part of the plot. So if you would like to learn more about that, I would definitely pick those up. The last order is the Materialki, and this is the order of the fabricators. So they can manipulate certain elements to build things. We have the Durasts, and they manipulate physical matter, more like metals and stone, glass, things of that nature. And then we have the Alchemy, and they work more on the chemical level. That is the overview of the different types of magic. Now, these magic wielders, as with many of our worlds, are often persecuted, shunned, or even tortured in some cases. There are two main countries that are safe haven for these people. And this will lead us into the more like geopolitical understanding. So we have Novia Zem, which is a country modeled kind of after, I think, 19th century, like a little bit of colonial United States and Australia, I believe, from my research. We don't know a ton about them, but we do know that they honor the Grisha, and it is not looked upon or frowned upon to be a magic wielder. And then we also have Ravka. This country is kind of modeled after Russia. They revere their Grisha as well. They test children when they are very young to see if they have these magical abilities. And if they do, these children are swept off to a school to be trained, and then they are drafted into the Second Army. There is a tension between non-magic wielders and magic wielders, but they are safe for the most part from events depicted in the previous trilogy. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, but I don't want to get too deep into it for spoilers for the Shadow and Bone trilogy in case you all want to go and read it. So those are the two main places where Grisha can kind of live free, not freely, but like without having to hide who they are or worry about persecution or enslavement. Then we have the Wandering Isle, which seems to be modeled after Ireland. Not a lot is really talked about the Wandering Isle other than the Kalish people live there. We hear about red hair, so it just feels like that's what that is modeled after, but not much takes place there. It's just kind of mentioned offhand. And then we have on this map, so we have Ravka here in the middle we talked about, and that is where Shadow and Bone trilogy takes place for the most part. Then we have the Fjerdans. This is a very northern, icy, snowy, like Arendelle, Sweden, Norway type of place. Very cold. They have a very deep religion, and they think that Grisha are witches that need to be exterminated. So they have a lot of tension with Ravka, who has their own Grisha army, and they think that Grisha should not exist. They are unnatural, and that goes against everything they believe. So we have the Fjerdans, we have Ravka, and then down underneath we have the Shuhan, and this seems to be modeled after East Asian cultures. They also have a, I don't know if a dislike of Grisha. They want to take advantage of them. They often torture them to try to figure out why they have magic, to like find the root. So also not a great place for magic wielders. They will be experimented on by the Shuhan. This will also come up. Both, all of these interactions and beliefs will come up in Six of Crows. So there is also a group of people, we see a character that is part of this that seems to be based on the Romani people. They're called the Suli, and they are a nomadic group that live within Ravka. One of our main characters is Suli, and we learn a lot about the Ravkan religion from her. So the last place is where the beginning of the book starts, and that is the small island of Kerch. Here, Grisha are often enslaved, so there are Grisha present, but if you are found out to be a Grisha, you're often exploited for your ability. Trade here is king. The merchants are the upper class, and then there are a bunch of different, businesses like gambling dens and bars and pleasure houses that aim to take as much money as they can from visitors. It's run by gangs. It's got a dark underbelly, and that's where our crows come from. It is just the way that Leigh Bardugo describes it. It's like you're really there. So I'll be super excited for you guys to see how all of these things in the like geopolitical universe, Grishaverse, work together and how they affect our story. I cannot wait for you guys to get into this. It is one of my all-time favorite books. The heist sold me. The Found Family is why it's one of my favorites. I can't wait to discuss both with Mandy, because she has never read this. This is her first time. And with all of you, you will fall in love with these characters. They're so rich and complex, and the way that they grow over these books is absolutely phenomenal. The payoff is so worth it. So after this introduction, I hope it really helps, and that you understand the magic system, and maybe you aren't as confused jumping right into the action. And this little introduction into the geopolitical space of the Grishaverse will help you understand how characters are acting, or maybe think about how these different aspects are affecting our story. So get ready, and I will see you guys next week with episode 1 of Six of Crows.